Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for pricing. Today, we discuss something super rare, a Japanese domestic market exclusive made in 38 pieces in steel. For 2021, this is the Spring Drive Automatic SBGA441, created for the retailer Umiya, and of course, 38 pieces is a real limited edition, and this watch features an extraordinary dial that is somewhere between a lump of coal and the traditional snowflake. Maybe we should call it the coal flake. The watch, in the 44GS case shape, is 40 millimeters in diameter, 12.9 millimeters thick. If we're just talking about the lugs, it's 46.1 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. If we're including the end links of the bracelet, then it is more substantial 50 millimeters across the wrist with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it's a really nice fit. I can see this fitting a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference if it were on a strap. On the bracelet as it is, I recommend it for a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference or larger. While it is not thick, it's also a little bit sheer, so it should fit underneath almost all cuffs and certainly every jacket cuff. Here's your down the barrel shot one more time, over the top. The bracelet, being fairly narrow with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lug horns, it's got a bit of a vintage look, and that's appropriate because the 44GS case shape dates back to 1967. We have a combination of polished intermediates, staggered link alignment, a little bit of taper down from the conforming end link, polished profile outboard. You can see we have removable links, including an intermediate size link on each side of the clasp. In case you find yourself in between sizes, you can use that to fine-tune the fit. Thick gauge steel, single fold deployant clasp, so twin trigger release. You got to press them both to open this up. It does have a screw down crown. It is 100 meters water resistant, so this is viable as a sports watch. Of course, the legendary manual tin plate polishing method known as Zaratsu, practiced by the folks at Grand Seiko. It is a truly flawless optical polishing to the point that the case becomes a mirror, and it's what the Swiss would call black polish. As you could see from most angles except the one reflective angle, a black polished surface looks perfectly black. So this is a totally handcrafted case, something you won't find in any comparably priced Swiss product, and if there are any flaws at all, it's just my fingerprints on the case. Again, large crown, screw down, slightly countersunk into the case band so it doesn't stick out too much. We have a conical profile to the bezel where it abuts the sapphire, and then the dial with that unique design. So the original SBGA Snowflake featured a dial that comprised, if you really want to be technical, 200 steps to create, and it was supposed to emulate the look of the snowdrifts outside the Shiojiri studio in Nagano Prefecture, where the Spring Drive watches are made. This right here features a anthracite colored version of that snowflake texture. It's definitely the snowflake, but I don't know what you would call this. I think either the black snowflake or the coal flake, because it really does look more like coal than anything else. It's got a rough, dusty texture to it, and it's not quite jet black. Again, anthracite coal, the kind used on luxury locomotives in the 19th and early 20th century. That's what I'm seeing here. The dial is extensively handmade, which means not only are the pieces placed and caulked by hand, but they're also cut and finished by hand. You can see the Dauphine hands at center have satin on their top, and then the razor-like edges are mirror polished. The same is true of each one of the indices. You can see they actually have striations on their top and mirror faceted flanks. They're artisans who use diamond-tipped micro milling tools to create these little parts all day long, and it is truly a feast for the eyes. Between the dial base and all those steps necessary to create it and all of the dial furniture, you can see why I say Grand Seiko alongside Rolex has the best dial quality in the mainstream luxury segment. The difference is Rolex does it with machines, Grand Seiko does it by hand. We have solid gold logo, seconds hand, and power reserve. And the watch does have a 72-hour automatic winding power reserve, courtesy of caliber 9R65. This is spring drive, which means that is a truly smooth gliding hand. It is not starting and stopping, ticking or tocking. And this system, which has no batteries, no motors, no capacitors, is accurate to 15 seconds a month, whereas a conventional mechanical chronometer is -4 plus 6 seconds per 24 hours. Now, we also have some other features here. You can see the power reserve indicator. You can manually wind if you want to see that indicator move quickly. There is a hacking seconds or stop seconds function, halting the seconds hand. There is also an intermediate position for the crown, so you can set the date rapidly if you wish. 30 joule spring drive movement. Don't be deceived, although it does have a quartz regulator. It's a hand-built, hand-tuned, and when the time comes, hand-maintained and hand-serviced movement that's designed to last for life, not just the life of the owner, but the life of the watch. And you can see it's a good-looking movement, albeit mostly mechanically finished. And we have these lacquered letters right here. We have stripes. We have the unidirectional governing wheel, which is the heart of the spring drive concept. It induces an electrical current by its motion through a magnetic field. That electrical current operates a quartz oscillator that in turn uses the electromagnetic field as a brake to slow down the governing wheel. So the barrel is geared to the governing wheel is geared directly to the hands, and the electromagnetic braking is what slows and governs the timing to keep it quartz accurate despite being driven entirely and solely by the spring of the main barrel. Now on the back, you can see that it says 1 of 0038, and that is a number that has Japanese language significance to the Umiya retailer. And those who are perhaps fluent in Japanese would better understand the connection than I would, but apparently the number itself has a linguistic link to the name of the store itself. And so 0038 is how that is phrased in Arabic numeric terms. A very cool watch and a rare one. You'll never see another with only 38 made. Roll coal with your watch. This is the Coal Flake. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for pricing.